Hello, I'm speaking to you from within the brush, and I welcome you here with me. I've been thinking about some things about faith. I was only raised culturally Catholic for the first few years of my life. I got baptized, recited a prayer every once in a while, then did First Communion. But I seriously was just going through the motions and have no real soulful connections with that part of my life. My father was, and on a more toned-down level, continues to be a Gnostic atheist, self-proclaimed anarchist, and most high-headed of them all. So I took the direction to be more of a rational, logistical thinker myself, so naturally explaining my disinterest for the intangible. With the state of things around me lately, I have started to reflect on what faith entails and all of the things I might be missing in my fear of commitment to it. What would believing in a higher power mean for my life? And what am I missing now if I don't at least consider it? So I answer my concerns for rationality by looking to Pascal's wager, French scientist and mathematician who experienced a religious conversion overnight at the age of 31. This was the 1600s, but if he had done it, then why can't I? Pascal claims that you are rationally required to have faith, in a practical sense. If you were to wager, either God is or he isn't, how would you wager? 2 things to lose, the true and the good, 2 things at stake, your reason and your will, and your knowledge and your happiness. 2 things to avoid, error and wretchedness. If you win everything. If you lose nothing. By using a mess of statistical decision theory, he's basically saying that if God doesn't exist, a believer doesn't truly lose anything, while a non-believer wins an odd win. But if God were to exist, the believer is granted a potential infinite reward, whilst the non-believer misses out. So wouldn't it be more rational to believe then? But what harm comes from choosing this course? You will gain, even in this life, faithful, honest, humble, grateful, that you will see that your gain is so certain and your risk so negligible that in the end you realize that you have wagered on something certain and infinite for which you have paid nothing. Okay, so I accept the terms. And I'm trying my best. But what if I don't have the capability to? And what if we are not in control over our beliefs? And how is that all rational? How is it possible to just believe overnight? Firstly, I need to clarify the definition of faith, as defined by Professor of Philosophy Lara Bushik, in the mundane sense and the religious sense. You can only have or lack faith in a claim that you have a positive attitude towards, and your evidence must leave it open that the claim may be false. Faith requires a willingness to act on the claim you have faith in without first looking for additional evidence. Faith does not require you to refrain from looking for other evidence. Regulating your degree of faith simply means that your decisions don't depend on what new evidence comes in. As long as your beliefs are coherent and respect to evidence, you can have faith while remaining epistemically rational. An individual who commits prematurely is not rational, but neither is an individual who insists on seeing all the evidence prior to committing. Faith also guards against the possibility of misleading evidence explaining why remaining committed despite counter-evidence is rational. Rational faith is not blind. It can be rational to change one's mind if negative evidence keeps piling up. So I propose a degree of faith in something tangible, to begin to perceive the world around us through the veil of metaphor. Mysticism. To see the life in every moment, stillness, sound, and silence in the water, the air, the earth, and the flames, to see the passages through the landscape that blur the line between you and infinity. That way, I fulfill the commitment to belief, achieve the infinite, and stay within the defining parameters of faith, because I could be wrong. Birds may not be the only beings with access to the realm beyond. But isn't this paganism, kind of like Buddhism, and a little like some indigenous faiths? Possibly. And it would make sense since I grew up around a pretty large indigenous community for the better part of my life. But this is low stakes. I take care of myself and the earth and respect everything within. No specific rituals, no guidelines, no expectations, just the comforting thought that when I go, I may become one with the life around me. So, I'll go to church, any church, whenever I want. I'll seek out the fields to have space swallow me whole, or the old houses and empty towns, anything that will connect me with what and who was before, to begin to understand the truth of infinity. Thank you for spending this time with me. I hope there's something to consider. Take care and have a good night.